be in contact, but their energy still lingers. Here's what the universe wants you to hear most. I pre-selected some oracle cards from various oracles. I also pre-selected some charms for your charm casting. After I finish the reading of the cards, we're going to do some spirit messages. We're going to do the oracles. We're going to look at some tarot to kind of see what's up next, to get more clarification from the oracles. And then we'll close out the reading with your charms. Within my charm bag, I keep selected stones, mainly to charge my charms. But today, while I was drawing your charms, I pulled a rose quartz. It wasn't the smallest one in the in the bag there. It's a wonderful size rose quartz. Rose quartz heals. It's a great stone for healing grief, loneliness, anxiety, and emotional wounds. Considering that this is a no contact reading, I think that this stone will probably be very helpful for the collective, especially at this time. It's not often that I draw crystals. So this must be something that you guys need. So we're going to start the reading off as promised. With some spirit messages. Kind of get a feel for your person who you're thinking about at this time, that you're in no contact with. The spirit wants us to know. You're about to receive the love that you give. I'm feeling as though you may be in deep contemplation about your love life as it is right now. How did you get to this point? You're probably feeling a sense of rejection. That's also part of the stages of grief. And a great stepping stone to use to move towards healing. You're being prepared for a higher kind of love, which is why you may be isolated or not currently dating or entertaining other potential partners in love. I think that by you taking the time to self-examine and take self-inventory, it'll help make space for the next person to come into your life. Or if you're going to rekindle with the past, you'll be ready to, and nothing will be standing in your way. It'll help uncross your love life and make space for the love that you really, really want to manifest. They're fighting the urge to reach out. So your person may very well want to reach out, but for one reason or another, they don't feel like the timing is right. Let go of what is not loving you back. The old saying is, if you love someone, let it go. If it comes back, and then you'll know. You'll know how they really feel, that they truly, truly care. Love, just like the song says, the Michael Jackson song, She's Out of My Life. Love is not possession. Love is not something that you can put on a leash, or that you can own. Love is something that flows freely. I think that you're learning this, and that you're beginning to accept this, and that you're at least and you're at least making the right steps to move forward for a better romance. Let's take a look at some of the oracle cards that were pre-selected for you. We have, You're Not My Master. My life, my rules. I am unchained. I'm feeling that you're starting to break loose from your partner, or for what was holding you. I feel like maybe you became a slave to love, or doing what's best for others and neglecting the things that you want. I feel like you're coming into your own, and I think that's very, very important within relationships going forward, to know who you are, to accept who you are, and to stand up for what's best for you. To not allow anyone to overstep boundaries, and for you to have boundaries. I feel like this love mishap with your person is not really a love mishap. I feel like it was a lesson, a very powerful lesson. Chaos, sorrow, madness, falsehood, agony, struggle. I feel like these are the negative emotions that you're breaking free from. I think that this time around, it was a lot of pain that was caused. I feel like it was very powerful and a lot for you to process. I feel like you probably struggled processing it. It looks to be like you are just a very highly sensitive person as is. I feel like you take on the feelings of others. Taking on the feelings of others is what caused you to feel chained in the first place. So this began an uphill climb, an uphill battle for your sanity, for some, for your happiness, for your integrity, for your dignity. You may be easily manipulated or easily controlled. I feel like the person that you have because I feel like just focus on trying things and let this person, no matter what's on me, I think that what they understand. I felt like this person would be a really good counterproductive to the future. Now, this is future, but you're a relationship. That's what it is again. It's a business again. But the non-labor, 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 it's not a business. And all things that full allegiance, parents, children, siblings, fidelity, commitment, trust, affection, support systems, origins, tribe, dependable, sincere, kindred spirits. This is Leo's energy, and this is the number 4. The number 4 is all about stability. I feel like your person didn't provide you with stability, and that's what you crave. That's what you need to feel secure, having that family, that tribe, feeling like you're a part of something. I think you long to be a part of something, and this person, although at times made you feel oppressed, it at least felt somewhat like a family situation. I also feel like you ain't seen nothing yet. Sometimes we have to go through the negative to get to the positive. Sometimes we have to endure what we don't want to know exactly what it is that we want. I do feel strongly that at least now going forward, you know what it is that you don't want, and your boundaries, you know what boundaries, okay? You know your boundaries. I feel like you're also respecting your boundaries going forward if you were to get into a situation here. We also have the curtain call. Acclaim, fame, recognition, parade, celebrity, admiration, applause, show, appreciation, spotlight, focus, attention, theater, act, performance. You are watching a movie. You could have watched a movie, you know, maybe like a chick flick or something powerful though. Like, I do feel like it was a drama. I don't feel like it was I feel like it was very touching. Like, I feel like a lot of people were talking about this Tyler Perry movie that's on Netflix currently that just, I think it's called Straw. Okay, I do think that you may have watched this film and it may have sparked some feelings within you, an emotional trigger that you didn't know that was there, and this could have catapulted you towards healing in a strange way. Also, some of this collective may be in an entertainment business in some kind of way, where having your circle, your tribe, is very, very important to have to come back to lean to. Especially, you know, at times when you're like been away and on the road for a while, or you had a long run of shows and now you're finally home. I do feel like maybe you felt lonely, and maybe that's why you accepted the things that you won't accept today. Jack and Diane. Number 3, Gemini. It says broken heart, heartbreak, interference, sorrow, grief, funk, sadness, mourning, distress, let down, gloomy, hopelessness, regret, crisis, unhappy, hurt, bitter, devastated, emotional pain. Gemini is all about communication. For some of you, especially if you're like a performer, a performer, your voice is very important to you. Maybe at this time, you may have not been able to perform at your most optimal because of this heartbreak that you're experiencing. I also feel like maybe you could draw from this pain and put it into your art, your craft in some kind of way. And that will also help you to break the chain, even if it's through character. That's for a small portion of this particular collective. It says tools, practical, abilities, resources, has what it takes, application, build it, fix it, organization, help someone, task at hand, well prepared, equipment, get ish done, masculinity. Okay, and that's the Capricorn number 1. So I feel like at this time is right now about getting yourself together, right? So that you able to have that family that you want, have that career that you want, and be able to put in the focus that's necessary. I feel like going through this situation may have also given you something to draw from. So if going forward, if you were to, let's just say you were to land a role where you would have to draw from that kind of emotion of a broken heart. The broken heart card says heartbreak, interference, sorrow, grief, funk, sadness, mourning, distress, letdown, gloomy, hopelessness, regret, crisis, unhappy, hurt, bitter, devastated, emotional pain. Okay? I feel like you're going to be able to transmute these heavy negative feelings within these particular outlets, turning to your friends and your family or your siblings or your parents, spending time with your children, doing things that are outside of the family routine, like just spending quality time, and also taking the emotion and finding some type of art form to express these negative, because you got to work this out, because if not, it just stays. Okay? Envy's turmoil, obsessed hearts and jealous minds brew a storm of unyielding chaos. So we have maybe that what caused the separation in the first place, the no contact in the first place, it began to be difficult to communicate. And also, if you are into theater, try not to bring your work home. Try to separate yourself from your character. And I know that's very hard because some of the acting exercises require you to go deep. And it's hard once you're that deep to come out of the character in a rabbit hole, especially if you have to come back tomorrow. Let's just say if you're like doing like a TV series or something like that, somewhere where you have to constantly revisit this character. I do feel like you have to also do the work to decompress so that you're not constantly walking around in that character and that you're able to enjoy the family. Maybe, put the person or the storyline where the storyline belongs. Let's just say this is your person's energy and you were dealing with someone that's in the performing arts. And when they came home, instead of being, who you're with, who you've been with, they're, instead of being Omari, when he walk in the door, he ghosts. You dealing with James St. Patrick, okay? That's not who you want. That's not who you married, okay? That's not who that ain't the person you committed to. And I do think that this happens at times. Because yes, people do get consumed. It's a double-edged sword here, okay? Being in the performing arts, you get to express yourself in ways that you, especially if you're like a stage performer, you get to express yourself in ways that you wouldn't get a chance in your normal day-to-day. And don't let it be a character that you low-key resonate, but it's the complete outside of who you are. Imagine, you married Bob Saget, but every day he come home is Danny Tanner. That's not your type. Danny Tanner ain't your type. Your type is Bob Saget. Rest in peace. Okay? It says here, consumed. Extinguish doubt by having open communication. So, at times when you don't feel like everything is clear, instead of shutting down just to avoid an argument, instead of walking around on eggshells as you may have done in your past when you two were together or whatever, when you two were in contact, when things was you were trying to keep things good, at least this time going forward, to have that conversation. Because if not, your feelings will consume you. Especially, after we watched, I keep bringing this up and keep going back to this, but that Netflix movie Straw, I encourage other people to watch it, but take how what's his name, the comedian, 𝐾𝐨𝐧'𝐭. He said sometimes you gotta take you out the story, take you out of the story, and literally just watch this woman and just watch this woman's story as she plays it out. It's very deep, but try to take you out of it just so that you can kind of watch it as an observer and not, you actually being in there. If you want to watch it the second time around like that, then do that, but I wouldn't suggest you throw yourself in there. This is a movie that, don't watch this movie if you like, it's a really, really bad day already. Don't do this. Make sure you filter yourself up before you go and decide to watch a movie like that. We also have welcoming dawns. Be open and receptive, embracing new beginnings with an eager heart. Sometimes people F up, right? And that don't, just because they mess up, that don't make it the end of the world. That don't make it that's what, who everybody is, what everybody is. That's not, that's not always the case here. Okay, sometimes we just need to move on, and also know that no response is a response. That is the closure. That is an answer. Okay? That is an answer. Hanging on. Release the past and let yourself love again. Please. And I don't feel like you're allowing yourself to love again. I think that you're beginning to come to a realization and open up to that. And, I think you're starting to see the error of your ways as well. It says here, ask for your needs to be met. God and the angels can come to you, can come to your aid only if you make a free will choice to be helped. So the angels, God, everyone is the spiritual team, the universe, what your higher power, whatever, however you view this particular dimension. Everyone has their own way of, their own philosophy or religion or spirituality, their beliefs, culture-wise and everything like that. So that's what affects it, right? Some of it is innate. So sometimes you're just born that way. You're born into your beliefs, and you also come with, your own soul, and your soul has a path that it follows. Listen to it, and don't judge others, especially if you ain't even listening to your own. Okay? If you don't have a connection with Source yourself, you ain't in no position to be telling nobody else about what they need to be doing. Okay? But you have to ask. That's all you have to do is ask. You have to pray. Prayer is so, so, so important. Prayer changes things, and it really do. The voice, the vibration of your voice, it has the ability to change the energy around you in the room. We see it happen all the time. Put some music on, or you hear someone singing, and you can feel that. You can feel that drum's percussion, and it make you want to do some things. It might make you want to shake some things, and that's the impact that prayer has as well. It's part of manifestation. It's part of creation. Remember, in the Holy Book, it said, God said, okay? God said, let there be light. Okay? The Big Bang. At first it was silence, and then something vibrated. Hence, something was created. But you have to speak it. Your thoughts turn into words and actions. That's where it starts. But you at least have to, especially if it's something that that you know that's your calling. You know that that's the right thing to do. And you're, especially when you're struggling, you don't need to sit there and struggle with feelings like feeling alone and feeling hurt and grief and everything. You don't need to do that. God hears you and God is there, but God is also waiting for you to make that connection. Okay? That's why God gave everybody the gift of telepathy. Okay? Telepathy. being able to send feelings, vibrations, thoughts across distances. It says, and it begins with asking. It doesn't matter how you ask God for help, but only that you do so. The same holds truth with clearly asking other people to assist you. So if you're in a situation, all right, and you're having a hard time, especially if you're within a relationship, I don't care how independent you think you gotta be. That whole independent, listen, I'm gonna be real with you, all right? I'm all for women's rights and stuff like that, but I wouldn't have signed on that petition for women to be away from home with their children. And I know this is out of the left part, but I only brought it up because that family card came through. I do feel like life is hard when you're working and you're caring for a family. It can be very, very draining, because at some point somebody got to be home with them kids, and you going to work to take care of someone else's stuff, and then you coming back home to take care of your business as well. It can be very, very draining. And then sometimes we don't know how to ask for help. Sometimes the world makes us feel like we're lazy, or we're soft, or we're not strong enough just because we need some help, some assistance. Just because you doing a whole bunch of moving around and running circles around things, and you getting so much, you swear to goodness you getting so much done. But for real, deep down inside is other things that's suffering, like your health, your mental sanity. And a lot of people say, listen, I don't care how much coffee you drink, don't nothing take the place of sleep. Don't nothing give you energy like a good night of rest. Some of y'all need to, if you're doing that as a way to heal, constantly making yourself busy. It's wonderful that you're hitting all the landmarks and or all the milestones and stuff like that. That's wonderful. But now you emotionally, how are you? Take a moment to sit back and think about that before your body make you, is what I'm trying to say. We have imagine and envision. Okay? So these are keys to changing things, manifesting things, bringing things that you want into fruition, making things around you just overall better here. Changing, especially if things ain't going the way that you need for them to go. All right? Because you can see on here, we got some money on the brain here. We got the home life on the brain. We got the trying to achieve the legacy up there. Okay? We have some new beginnings with the fish. We have the love. We have the rings with the commitments. So we already have all these other commitments. We also have the unicorn and the butterfly. So cycling and, just living in your uniqueness. All of these things are all possibilities. And all these energies are all at our grasp. We just need to focus and zoom in. joy and delight, especially if you're trying to change the emotions around you. You want things to be happier, right? You want to be happy. You know, you just like Mary right now. All you want to do is just be happy. And right now, it's right there in your grasp. You just gotta ask divinity for help. You gotta ask divine, the divine, to come in and change things. You played a part in all the chaos that's going on. You did partake in it with your thoughts, with you not monitoring your thoughts and harboring, you know what I mean, not having fun. That's why I think that family card came out. So if you do have family, it might be a good time to, you know, spend quality time with them. Spend time doing, if money is a thing, then spend time doing free stuff. There's a lot of free stuff that go on around town. You just need to look, or you need to create things that don't cost you nothing but time, especially, and you have to make time, okay? Make time to do the things that you love, okay? Make time to do the things that bring you joy, and watch how much more things come about that bring you joy, because it's really a vibration, okay? Once you start doing things that bring you joy, being in a lower vibe and being in a vibration that's outside of joy, that's outside of delight, is going to make you search, and it's going to make you uncomfortable. You're going to be seeking that feeling again, because I think you might have gotten too comfortable being in a lower vibration because of this heartbreak that you went through, because of this no contact. And look at this. We thought I'm sure you didn't expect all of this. You ain't expect it to be about you this time, did you? You thought I was going to come out with what's going on with your partner. This about you this time. All right. So let's work on changing you. All right. And I was going to do the classic insights. We got about 4 of those. And I don't like to waste spirit messages, so I'm going to go there. But I think that pay more attention to the parts right here. So we're going to go into the cosmic insight. The first cosmic insight we got is sexuality. Someone is still figuring themselves out. This could be your energy. This could be your partner's energy. But I think this time alone, as you heal, you're going to be able to figure this out, okay? If it was questions, if it was, because you might be a little bit confused right now because this person done messed you all up. You know, you might not want to be involved with nothing. You might just want to just be by yourself, and you probably thinking like, dang, I don't really got the urge or the nudge or the feelings to go be with nobody. What does that say about my sexuality? Is something going on with me? Something wrong with me? No. I do think that the hurt, the pain is affecting that in some kind of way here. Cycles, fate, karma, something ending, something beginning here, okay? Things end to begin, all right? So I do think that you're moving into a different cycle, or you will be moving into a different cycle, because this had to happen. Whatever it is that you went through that's caused you to struggle, the sorrow, the falsehood, the all that you're feeling around you, I do feel like it's a reason for all of that. But I think it's definitely purposeful. All right? And here we have intimacy. Wow. Sexual chemistry reminiscing. I think you're going to go through different cycles. You're going to go through moments where you want to be intimate and moments when you don't want to be intimate at this time. So I just feel like don't worry about it at this moment. Don't put too big of a emphasis on labels right now, and or your sexuality right now, or I feel like it is what it is, and it's very important for you to call in joy, to call in happiness, and to spend time with your friends and your family, people that really truly know you and people that really truly love you and appreciate you for who you are. Okay? Tarot Oracle is not for, in my opinion, exposing other people's personal preferences, especially when it comes to that kind of thing. I feel like everybody is on a journey, and that's their business. Okay, so I'm not going to say that your person, don't, straddling the fence right now, because that's not for me to say it, and I'm not. And I don't believe in that, Is there a possibility? There's always a possibility. You know what I mean? But I do think that the focus right now is on being happy and uplifting yourself right now. It says narcissist. Someone is too full of themselves. I'm sorry. I'm just going to go get a few more cosmic insights, because this feels incomplete. But this is, I think, is where we can also do tarot. But I'm going to get like maybe one more cosmic insight card here. So I'm just doing a quick shuffle to get another clarifier. Then we'll do the oracles. Spy. Someone got their eye on you. You are doing your research. I feel like someone may be, and maybe you may be researching narcissism. And you may be going over your relationship in ways that maybe your person has displayed those traits. And they say a lot of, some say, don't get me the line, and it ain't none of my business. And I'm not trying to insinuate anything. But for some people, their belief is there's a correspondence between someone that's on the DL and someone that is a narcissist within a relationship. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. So you may need to be healed from that, because you may have been a victim of that, where you're in a relationship with someone that the reason why they may have been treating you the way that they was treating you, because they ain't know if they wanted to go left or right. And it had nothing to do with you. It's just, like I said, your person ain't know if they wanted to go left or right, or your person could have not known if they wanted to go left or right, and that's why you got treated the way that you got treated. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the old school deck here. Let's see here. what's going to be the outcome of this situation. I think I kind of gave some pretty valuable advice thus far. Okay, we'll go with that, and we'll take all of those, and that'll be our tarot selection here. So the first tarot card we have is the 8 of Wands in reverse. So expect some type of communication to start coming in. It says regulation, advancement is only possible by following the rules, focusing on short-term goals while losing long-term perspective is an obstacle. So you needing to follow, have some type of order, have some type of try not to skip steps. Don't, feel free to test the waters before jumping in the pool kind of energy here, especially when it comes to the relationships. We have 7 of Swords here. A narrow, over-focused vision, investing efforts and resources in a lost cause. I do feel like if you have some really long-term goals, like really, really big goals, as I think that you do, that you're definitely working on manifesting things. Like I was expressing all of these things that are in the ethers that the person in the card may be trying to manifest, maybe doing some scripting. In order for you to get to that, you may need to break it down in bite-sized pieces, where just like, when you're trying to eat a steak, you can't just throw the whole steak in your mouth. You can't do that. You have to cut it. You have to break it down, and you gotta work that thing down. All right. So if you have a bigger dream, a bigger future or whatever, like, start coming up with a plan and take it down the list, and as you go down the list, just kind of cross out with what was done already and kind of work in a more orderly fashion, so you don't get overwhelmed and you don't lose sight and you don't lose your breath. Okay, so break it down in bite-sized pieces. And then we have the Chariot. If you felt stuck lately, it could just be, especially if you're trying to you're trying to move into a different timeline, because that's basically ultimately what you're trying to do. You're trying to change things for the better, and the way to do that is to plan. You can't take shortcuts. You can't cheat. You really have to. The Spirit's not going to let you. Okay. You really have to actually put the elbow grease in. Especially if you want long-term success. You want short-term success, you just want the success for the vanity of it, then that's what people do. They try to shorten the process and not go through the process. And ultimately, they end up losing their success because they have no idea what to do to keep it. So don't try to do things the easy way or what you think is the easier way. Take the challenge to do things the way it's supposed to be done. Seven of Pentacles. Lack of independence. Needing to rely on the help and acceptance of others. So ask and you shall receive. Things ain't moving maybe because you're not asking. You're not asking the right questions and you're not asking the right people. Eight of Cups. Involvement. Developing personal relationships within the group. A favorable environment for human relations. A feast or family event. I do feel like if you're like headed out to, and this is for a small group of people, and this is kind of like just a warning. I do think that if you're heading to like a family event, you may have problems with your car, okay? And you may need to be able to rely on someone else to drive you. Or you may rely on someone else's house to take you or whatever. And if that's the case, okay, just know that that's a possibility here for some. That has absolutely nothing. That's a bonus, just to save you some time, because it's going to be hot this weekend anyway. The weather might not be very favorable at this time, and there will be delays. And sometimes if we do things to shortcut, if something big was to happen, something like a wrench gets thrown into something unexpected happens, we won't be prepared for it because we don't know how. We don't know how because we didn't go through the processes. So for my passenger princesses, I was a passenger princess for a very, very long time. If it means you having more independence, please go get that driver's license and learn how to drive and learn how to do some things for yourself, especially if you rely on family and friends to get you around sometimes to family functions. It's time to become more independent in that kind of way, especially if you have big time dreams. Right now, you may get, you're going to get there, to the point that you may have your own driver, because the fame card did show face here. So maybe you'll get to the point that you have the driver and you won't need to drive yourself. But right now, I think you need to develop the skills to kind of drive yourself. Okay, develop the skills to do things for yourself. Become more independent. That way, I do feel like you won't find yourself in the relationships like the relationship that you were in, where you were, looks like you were dependent on the person in some ways. All right. Which is why it might have been a hurt piece when things didn't like work out between the two of you. You may have to do some shuffling, some readjusting. Okay, so that was pretty cool. So the next segment I'm going to do and run into is going to be your charms. Just give me a second while here are your charms. Peeking there's nothing left. Okay, we got everything out here. So let's see what we have. Let's center them. Okay, so we have the planet Saturn. We have the letter C. So some of you may resonate with these letters more than what I do. So this is kind of like for you. C, I, V. Another letter C. U, R, G, urge. So these could be the C, I, V. Some of these could be initials. And we also have a blank. So this is the unknown. So this could be anything. It makes me think of the blank room. And when that room appears, that's the unknown. That's spirit keeping a little bit to themselves, not sharing all of what's happening. It could mean also be a symbol of chaos, the unknown. You don't know what's something, a surprise is going to take place. Energy that is unpredictable. Okay, so you do have some energy around you that's kind of like unpredictable at this time. Okay, we also have Wednesday and Tuesday. So Tuesday, this past Tuesday and Wednesday or whatever, whenever you're receiving this timeless reading, excuse my fingers, they do have a little black ink on it. I was making makeshift oracle cards today, and the black ink must have bled into my hand. But yeah, so Tuesday and Wednesday could be significant this week to you here. We also have the Death card, Major Arcana, Rider-Waite. We have the letter I and the word now. Okay, so this is probably about the now, living in the now and pulling yourself out of the past here. We have the word smile here and crazy, which goes perfect with the chaos. With the, okay, things may seem a little weird and a little crazy right now. And I'm not surprised that we pulled Saturn. Saturn a little busy this month. Okay? Saturn goes into retrograde July 13th through November 28th. Okay? And with a Saturn retrograde, it brings deeper introspection. It causes you to reevaluate your responsibilities, especially in relationship dynamics. And you could also experience some delays, but I also think that that's times two, because we have what we call a dual retrograde window. And there are two planets in particular that are going retrograde at very similar times. So we also have Mercury retrograde starting on the 18th of July, and that'll run us all the way over to the 11th of August. And with that, you'll see the effects in communication, in your career, and your personal growth, which is why you're probably getting these urges and these nudges. Check the dates for Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm not sure when the 18th falls on, and I'm not sure what day did I say? Was it the 13th? Yes, July 13th is when The official Saturn starts to go retrograde. And what we're doing is we're probably starting to feel the effects now as a collective, with all the craziness and chaos that's happening, because Saturn is all about order and discipline, and karma, and we pulled a lot of things about the karma. This particular time is going to be a great time to let things go and to kind of release things and kind of just observe. Okay? Just observe. So I don't really have that much more to add to the charm reading. I think it's already very straightforward what needs to take place, considering earlier in the reading, the cards, everything seems to kind of come down to this moment. It's a time of self-reflection and personal growth, and we're coming back to this rose quartz, which I think is an excellent stone right now for you to maybe meditate with, maybe engage in some positive self-talk with some mantras, some heart chakra work, some throat chakra work, maybe get some Reiki done in the process, acupuncture, just try some holistic ways to I guess help with these heavy feelings that you've been experiencing. Okay? And I truly hope that this time that you spent listening to me go through these cards and these charms with you, I hope that it was beneficial, and I wish you peace, blessings, and I'm sending a lot of love and light to you. Enjoy your holiday weekend, and for those that are catching this outside of the time parameters that I expressed, the message is still there, because this is, in my opinion, is a timeless reading. I think that this can go at any time. Things that I've shared with you can be applied to any breakup, any no contact situation at any time. All right, so if you resonate with this message, please let us know. Drop it in the comments. Drop a heart in the comments. Drop what can we drop? We can drop let's get chaotic. Drop a lightning bolt. Drop a lightning bolt in the comments or something. All right, like, share, subscribe. If this is YouTube, hit the notification button so that I know that, so that the next time I upload a new video. It's been real. Take care.